Hello, welcome to another edition of Between Two Owls. I'm your host, Tom Price. And today we have with us faculty member from the math department, Jessica Babcock. Thank you so much for joining us today, Jessica.
Absolutely, I'm happy to be here.
So we'll get right into it. Why don't you tell me, where did you grow up?
So I grew up in Delaware County, which is a suburb of Philadelphia. I still live in Delaware County, just the next town over. We all kind of tend to stay right around where we grew up around here. So
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to Cardinal O'Hara High School, which is, in Delaware County area.
And did you have any sports or musical instruments you played as a child growing up?
No musical instruments. I was very much into the theater program. I was actually a part of the stage crew. I ran the Spotlight, which basically became my high school nickname, Spotlight.
Cool.
So yeah, that was kind of where most of my time and interest in high school was.
And do you have any siblings?
I do. I have 3 younger sisters.
And what would your sisters say about you?
Hopefully that I'm a good big sister.
Fair enough. And where did you go for your undergraduate degree?
I have actually been an owl continuously since 2003. I did my undergraduate starting in 2003 at Temple.
Awesome. And did you have any interesting jobs as an undergraduate student?
So I started in retail, as many undergraduate students did, kind of working at a shop near home. And then I had the very great fortune to tutor a friend in math, and it got back to his teacher that I had taught him everything that he learned for the test, essentially, because he hadn't been a great student and hadn't been attending. And when his professor found out that I had been helping him, he recommended me for a tutoring job at what was then called the Math and Science Resource Center, which has gone through a few changes. It was the class, and now it's actually the Student Success Center, an aspect of that. So I was an undergraduate tutor starting my sophomore year through the entire remainder of my undergraduate career.
Cool. Looking back, what advice would you give to yourself as a first-year student?
Stop worrying about grades. Just stop. Learn the material. Don't worry about the grades. The grades will come if you learn the material. I want to tell myself that all the time, because I was very much focused on grades as an undergraduate, as I think, is very natural to do as a student. And I really wish that I had just refocused myself on just the learning and the appreciation for the material.
And so how did you get from being an undergraduate student to being a math faculty member?
So I actually did what was the 4+1 program. It's a few branding changes. But I started my graduate degree in secondary education my junior year of undergrad. So I was working on my master's in secondary ed. My goal was to be a high school math teacher. So then the last semester of the graduate year, you do your student teaching, and I was there for a very short period of time when I realized I don't want to be a high school teacher. So I kind of had that existential crisis of I've just spent many years trying to figure out what I'm going to do with, or thinking I knew what I was going to do with my life, and then kind of had to change course a little bit. So because I had worked at the tutoring lab, I had some great relationships with some faculty members, and I was offered an adjuncting position. So I started within that, and then it led to a very interesting series of needing to fill a full-time position very quickly, and I happened to qualify at that time. And I was there for a year, and then I left to go back to the Math and Science Resource Center. And I was the assistant director there for a few years, but I just wanted to teach more. So I reapplied for a non-tenure track faculty position in 2012, right around that time. And that is where I landed in what I'm now doing.
And what is it you do now?
So I'm a full-time faculty member, so teaching a full faculty load. Part of that is including coordinating the pre-calculus course. And then I also work with the developmental math oversight team.
Great. And what do you like most about your job?
I think the moment when you can see students actually learning, like when you get to see the light bulb, which is, one of the detractors of virtual learning is you can only see 25 students at a time. So you might miss the light bulb. But that moment when the student makes a connection about why something works rather than just what to do next, that's always been something that I thought was really, really cool from the perspective of a faculty member.
Cool. So I want to change gears a little bit now. What do you appreciate most in your friends?
When they're there for me when I'm, feeling down. I have a really good group of friends who are really supportive. We are all on a text chain, and so we're in constant communication. And I think we all provide a really good support system for each other, especially, with everything going on. Everybody feels, like they need somebody to rely on. And I'm very lucky to have a good group for that.
Awesome. What is your main fault?
I am a perfectionist, and that is said in truly the sense of it being a fault. When I do something, I want it to be perfect, and if it falls short, I'm pretty hard on myself.
Do you have a significant other?
I do. I've been married to my husband, Jamie, since 2012, and we were actually high school sweethearts. He's the reason I even looked at Temple, because I had no interest in going to Temple. And he turned to me, he's like, I've done all of these visits with you to all of these other schools. Just come look at Temple with me. I was like, fine, it's whatever. I got halfway through the tour and turned to my mom, like, this is it. This is where I'm going. And I didn't even apply anywhere else. So he's been very, very much instrumental in my path.
What would the title of your biography be?
I really have never thought about that. Probably something about taking a roundabout route to getting where you're meant to go. Because I think for a while teaching was just, it was something that I really liked doing, but I think has kind of morphed into something that I now love. And I think that through different opportunities that I've been given through Temple and working with different departments, I'm slowly getting to the point where now I'm thrilled with what's actually coming professionally. So.
And so who have been your mentor or mentors?
I think a lot of people. I have the privilege of having gone through an undergraduate program in the department where I work. Mm-hmm. So I think right off the top, Maddie Downing, Professor Downing, took me under her wing when I was an undergraduate, and really, ingrained in me the way that we teach math at Temple and why it's so important to teach the way that we do. So I think right from the start. And then since then, I also have worked very much with Dr. Detskoski, Dr. Lorenz. They've been very, very helpful in kind of, working with me to let me become a professional and do the job that I do.
What excites you?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
What excites you?
New opportunities. I think a lot of times, you get a lot of things are very kind of rote when you were, in a job and you get to do things. And when the opportunity to do something new comes up, for me, like I have been very, very lucky to get to kind of look at an active learning redesign of a couple courses. And I really like throwing myself into that. I'm a perfectionist. I go all in, trying to take advantage of that kind of an opportunity.
Do you have a favorite vacation spot or dream vacation spot?
So I've only been out of the country once, and I went to the island of Anguilla. And if I could ever go back there, that was absolutely amazing. I was very excited. I'm very, very much a fan of celebrities, and I got to stay at the place that Meryl Streep had stayed, and I was just thrilled. So
this leads to my next question. Who would play you in a movie based on your life? Meryl Streep.
That would be amazing, Meryl, if you're listening. So I would say, I would like to say Jennifer Lawrence. I'll go with that because I really like some of her work. What's
your favorite thing to do in Philly?
So every once in a while, my husband and I will get a babysitter, and we'll just go around and visit we'll pick kind of like a spot in Philly and then just, walk or Uber from place to place and just check out some of the sites, some of the restaurants, some of the bars, kind of just get a feel for what city life is like. We're not too far from the city, but we're just far enough that going there is, you got to plan for it. So I really like to kind of just do that. And then any opportunity to go to a Philly sports event. We're huge Eagles fans, Phillies fans, Sixers fans, Flyers fans, Union fans, you name it. We are there for a Philly sports event.
Awesome. So I'm going to do something called a rapid fire response. I'm just going to give you 2 words and you just tell me which one you prefer.
Okay.
Tea or coffee?
Tea first, then coffee. I have an order of my day.
Morning or night?
Night.
Dark or milk chocolate?
Milk chocolate. Dark is way too much.
Offense or defense?
Offense sells tickets, defense wins games.
Dogs or cats?
Cats.
Bert or Ernie?
Ernie.
Half full or half empty?
Half full.
Hot or cold?
Cold.
Awesome. So thank you so much, Jessica. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. I've really enjoyed talking to you.
Thanks for having me.